Okay, boys, turn around. John, what color is the ball?
The ball's white. Seriously? Bro, you just like making things difficult?
Well, what color do you say the ball is?
Black. The ball is black, clearly. I don't know what you see around, but the ball is white.
Without looking at the ball, I want you to both switch places. Okay, both of you, please turn around. And what color is the ball now? Okay, please have a seat. Throughout our lives, we believe many things, and we hold dear what we think is right and true. But at times there'll be others who disagree with us. What we believe to be 100% right, they believe the opposite just as strongly. Well, how can that? Can't they see? We can become frustrated, we might grow distant, we may even sever relationships entirely. Slow down. Breathe. Step into the other person's shoes. Make all the difference.
Which doll is the black doll?
This one.
And which one is the white doll?
That one.
Which doll is the pretty doll? Which doll is the nice doll? Which doll is the bad doll? Which doll is the nice doll? And which doll is the bad doll? And why is that doll pretty?
Because she's white and she has 2 eyes.
Which doll is the ugly doll? Why is that doll ugly?
Because she's black.
Which doll looks most like you?
Like me.
Yeah, which one looks like you?
And that one.
Okay.
That doll.
Listen, let me tell you about people. People are opportunists. They look for a chance.
The Europeans and the Americans have seen if you want to hold a people in chains, one must first convince them that they are meant to be bound. We join them in becoming our own oppressor, but no more. No more. We are a warrior people, and there is power in our mind, in our unity, in our culture. If we understand that power, we will be limitless.
You don't get to play with people's life and then determine how they respond. I'm saying as a real person, you could pick your choice, but you don't get to pick your consequence. That's not how life works.
Above electricity and magnetism is what is called orgone energy. Now, those are bad words. You don't want to say orgone out here to this government and research scientists, because orgone means original. It's organic. It's orgasm. It's organic. It's organic people. And of course, they refer to those kind of people as original people. And what the last thing they want you to understand is who the original people are, and why the original people are, and where the original people are, and when the original people came. None of that will they teach you. But you do hear a word that's used a lot. It's called aboriginal. Never use that word aboriginal if you are indigenous to the planet. Why? Because it means to abhor the original person. Aboriginal means to abhor the original. To abhor means to hate, to envy, to covet, to dislike. Consequently, the word aboriginal means that you have a dislike for the original person. And the original person, of course, is a person with melanin. That's been proven so many times now that if necessary, I won't spend the time with an audience like you to go into that, but nevertheless.
It is the greatest form of mind control ever invented. Once you accept religious story, belief system, and it is unquestionable, this is how it is, you deny yourself vast areas of potential knowledge, awareness, research, investigation, enlightenment. All those areas that you will not go into, because if you do, your religious belief system comes under threat. So what you do instead is you say, if you go into those areas, that's blaspheming. The idea that we are an expression of infinite awareness is blaspheming, because they don't want you going into those areas. They want you in a belief system corral, which they circle the wagons around and tell you that's all you need to know. And if you've got questions and they can't be answered without going into these other areas, then it's because God doesn't want you to know the answers.
We're like the only race of people that they tell us to forget our history. Everybody else to be like, we're going to let you know so it doesn't repeat itself. Don't you forget that shit. That shit's not going to happen. Every other person. And then they'll all ask us to support them in their plight. They just want us to continue to entertain, give them creative ideas so they can steal all of that shit. We are the only motherfuckers that they tell to forget about our history. The shit is so disgusting.
Or you're empowered. But as soon as the opportunity comes, and they may help the opportunity by putting somebody, by planting somebody in your situation, and as soon as the time comes where you're down and out, that's when everybody stick their forks in your neck and in your back.
1982. Hezbollah was founded in 1982 by Lebanese clerics in response to the Israeli invasion of Lebanon. Now you may say, oh, that's so evil, that's so wrong. Well, brothers and sisters, why was the Black Panther Party formed? Before all you Christians say something stupid, think about it. Why was the Black Panther Party formed? As a response to the injustices whites were perpetrating against black people. The murder, the wanton violence against black people. Why was AIM, the American Indian Movement, formed? As a response to the cruel injustices white society was perpetrating against American Indians. Why was the Young Lords formed? As a response of the cruel injustices done against Puerto Ricans. Why was the Brown Berets formed by the Mexicans? It was formed in response to the cruel, heartless injustices white society, white Christians was doing against our brothers, the Mexicans, the tribe of Mexico. So now we're going across the world now, and Professor Morandi is explaining why Hezbollah was formed. As a response to the cruel, insensitive, wanton violence that these fake Israelis were committing against the people of Lebanon.
Republicans has been fighting for the freedom of black people since the 1860s. This is why Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. You've been having the right to vote since the 15th Amendment. And the Democrats was terrorizing you for over 100 years because you had that right to vote. But you were voting Republican at the time. There was no party switch that ever happened. The only thing that switched was your vote, which that's what they wanted. You to vote for Democrat for years. And they want y'all to not look at the Joe Biden 94 crime bill. Well, he wrote it with Strom Thurmond. He was a racist in his segregations. He was the only one that switched parties from Democrat to Republican. But he worked to undermine the Republican Party. The 94 crime bill couldn't pass under the Republican Party. It passed under the Democrat Party, under Clinton's administration to be exact, with the Democratic House and Senate. And that led black people separated, Hispanic people separated from their families. It broke up their homes for generations. Some of them are still in prison to this day. But it was also a bill to build more prisons, to make money, for-profit prisons. The ones that came in and reversed it was Republicans with the First Step Act, Trump. Y'all really need to go and study and look at it. CitizenProject.org. Go look at the numbers of how many people was released from prison in a mass incarceration reversal under the Trump administration. Democrats have always used these sellout Negroes, such as the Boule and Divine Nine, to Trojan horse whatever their agenda was. See, they want to keep you ignorant to the fact how much they have rampaged the black community. They don't want you to critically think about things. They just want you to listen to them. Democrats has always wanted cheap labor, which is why they was fighting for slavery, which is why even now they leaving the border open. Why do you think they're leaving the border open? cheap labor. So their ideologies have never switched. They just redirected and diverted. And they're using the black people as a Trojan horse to do it. Y'all better open up y'all eyes to see what's going on. Go back and really read your history. Because now they're censoring anybody that talks about the history of the Democrats. When y'all are voting, stop voting 85%. For what? And the Republicans, no, they're not perfect either. We're fighting against an establishment of Republicans like the Bushes and all of them. You can say whatever you want to say, but throughout history, when I was looking, I have not found a bill yet that the Republicans wrote to predominantly undermine black people and harm black people on a large scale at all. Go look it up yourself. But even after I say that, these boule, they'll come into the comment section. No, well, they're trying to suppress your vote. Suppress the right to vote for what? Democrats? Because that's what y'all been voting for. Democrats. That has done nothing to improve your life, your neighborhoods, your school, or nothing at all. So what are you voting for them for? That's why they got rid of Malcolm X. And that's why they also got rid of Martin Luther King. Because all they wanted to give y'all was welfare. They didn't want y'all to get up on anything. And they want y'all to continue to think that the Republicans are the ones that are racist. But many of you all don't even know that during that time when Trump was in office, a lot of people, poverty was improving. A lot of people was able to get off of food stamps. They was able to go and work. People was doing better for themselves and not dependent on the government. That's what was happening. But y'all can continue to believe these boule Negroes instead of the people that actually live in the neighborhood, like in Chicago, are telling you about what's going on in their neighborhoods with these illegal migrants, and y'all are choosing to turn a blind eye on it because you want to vote for a so-called black woman. Y'all be pissing me the hell off.
Why do you believe it's so easy today to use fear to program us into being these docile, controlled, it seems like zombies that end up attacking each other, and we end up doing the work for them.
Yes.
So they don't even have to attack us. And so why do you think it's so easy for that to happen these days?
Psychologically, first thing we have to remember is we are at war. Now, this is a thing that I have to always highlight for the people. Just because things look calm in your apartment, your house, on your block, just because everything feels good for the moment does not mean that there is not an active war going on right now. The war of information is the biggest as of right now. Billions of dollars are poured into psychologists in the Department of Defense, the Department of Education, all of these departments. The primary area is psychologists who they use to map out patterns, study those patterns, remove what didn't work, keep adding on what did work, wash, rinse, and repeat, and continue to do that to indoctrinate the masses over and over again. So what they're looking at is, if we use fear, one, we know that chemically has certain chemicals that mix from the brain into the rest of the body. If you get a person to be afraid, you can hypnotize them, you can install command phrases, you can, essentially it's actually what the CIA does, something called PDH, pain drug hypnosis, where they physically induce pain, they drug you, then they hypnotize you. Okay, so you need all those ingredients. They studied this, they did it with Adolf Hitler, back then they did it with the US military. They are very good at hypnotizing the people. So they studied.
Or operating in another people's culture. We eating other people's food. You see that? We're taking other people's medicine. We're following other people's gods, or what you would call religion, and we're wondering why we're out of our minds. We're out of our original Aboriginal African minds, and we're in the minds of Europeans and other people, and that's why we don't have no peace, we don't have no identity, we don't have no language, we don't have no land, we don't know who we are. We identify with the color of a crown and shirt and call ourselves black. Then you'll say you're African American, which is 2 continents. Who are you? If you ask an Italian, he's gonna say, I'm Italian, I speak Italian, I'm from Italy. You ask a Japanese, I'm Japanese, I'm from Japan, I speak Japanese. A Chinese, I'm from China, I speak Chinese, I'm Chinese. As soon as you ask a so-called black person who they are, they're gonna say, I'm African American and I speak English. We don't know who we are. So since we don't know who we are, and you strip the nationality and the identification of a people, you can tell them who they are. And that's what's been told to us. So I'm just here pulling the curtains off, saying they lying. They'll send you to the doctor right now. You go to the doctor, they will treat you like a 40-year-old Caucasian man. What about a 14-year-old so-called African-American woman? She goes to the doctor right now, and they will treat her like a 40-year-old Caucasian man. That is their stat.
Unless she's in pain.
That's their statistics.
Then they will tell her, hold on.
You see what I'm saying?
Let's see what happens.
So we just have to understand that we're biological.
Shellfish, dogs, cats, and skunks, because those are all animals. Those animals are not meant to be eaten. They are meant to grab waste from the environment, store it, and then they die. They're not waste removal systems. They are garbage cans. So if you look at a pig or a dog or a cat or a skunk, and you might say, no one would ever eat a dog, cat, or skunk. They do in other countries. But particularly, we are infatuated with pork, and so are European countries, I've noticed, particularly Italy. A pig has a structure that is similar to a human, and that is a monogastric. It has one stomach. The animals God says to eat in Leviticus 11, Deuteronomy 14 that are land animals, I'm talking about cow, goat, sheep, buffalo. They have a 4-chamber stomach where they can chew the cud or the grass, digest it, and become powerful, well-muscled animals, whereas pigs will eat anything.
Why is black women one separate entity and black men are another separate entity? That's not how it's supposed to be. That's not how any other race operates, but we're the only ones who operate like that and think it's functional. You feel me? I've said it before. Why do we get the label of strong, independent black woman? We don't hear that from nobody else. I've never heard strong, independent white woman, strong, independent Asian woman, strong, independent Latino woman, strong, independent Indian woman. I ain't never heard none of that. But we pride ourselves being strong, independent black women, as if independence is something that we should strive for as a people. Independence is death. Everybody needs somebody. And the reason why we're struggling in our households and our communities is because we think that there's something good about being independent. Black women need black men, and black men need black women.
The biggest scam being ran on black people is color don't matter. You know why it don't matter? Because they don't have it. Remember, every other race comes from you. You're the only race who comes from God. Your DNA goes to God. There's no race that can say black people came from us. But guess what? Everybody has to say that about you. Everybody came from the black man. Jesus is black. Every coin and statue of Christ prior to the rise of white supremacy has him as black. The oldest painting of Jesus, which I think is in the Cairo Museum, I have a picture of it, a replica of it. He's black, and all 12 of the disciples is black. Y'all saw the president of Russia, Putin. He went down into the Vatican, not the Vatican, but the cathedral in Russia, and showed you all the black images of Christ and the disciples. Every prophet was black. There was never a prophet that came into this world of any religion that was not an African, because African people are the children of God. We are the chosen ones. Being chosen is being God's original people, and that is the African. We're the black, we're the color of the black soil, which is the richest soil in the world. Why do judges wear black robes? Why do you put on a black robe when you graduate? Because blackness is divine, it is divinity. So if they get you to tap out of your blackness, you tap out of your divinity.
Our greatest men who had white women, Sheikh Anta Diop of Senegal, probably the greatest African cultural anthropologist, not just African, greatest anthropologist in history, one of the greatest historians of all time. I mean, this is the black man who took flesh off the mummies in Kemet and proved that they had to be African based on the percentage of melanin in their skin. When you look at Sheikh Anta Diop's library, the books that he wrote for us, showing us who we are and where we come from, are almost unparalleled by any other scholar. He was a supreme intellect and still a bunny hopper. So do you know what that tells me? Right. Despite all that knowledge you had, you still had an inferiority complex in you. Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, who worked with Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop, Sheikh Anta Diop, Ivan Van Sertima, and Dr. Yusuf bin Yaqin, in my opinion, are probably the 3 greatest African historians and anthropologists we've ever had. And of course you have others, right? Yeah. But Ivan Van Sertima had a white wife at one time. You see, so just because you know who you are, that's intellectual. Hating yourself, that's psychological. And I think too often we confuse the fact that you got knowledge of self with an assumption that you no longer hate yourself. And nothing could be further from the truth. Because if that logic is correct, every PhD in African studies, every PhD in the world in African studies would have a black wife. And we know that's not true. So simply knowing who you are does not mean you've overcome your self-hatred. You have to internalize that information. You got to internalize that cultural truth. Simply having it in your brain means nothing. Have you become it?
You see, when I go to talk to our children, I need them to become it. I'm going to talk in such a way that I'm going to rip the coon out your chest. You're going to be an African before I leave. This is not a cerebral exercise. You understand? This is psychosurgery. When I'm talking to black youth, I'm conducting psychosurgery. I'm going to snatch the coon out.
Gangsta rap is the marketing scheme for the mass incarceration of black males. And nobody's saying nothing about it. 50 years of gangsta rap. 50 years of hip hop. Most of the money made by Jewish publishing houses. Not a single black institution, relevant black institution. And let me tell you what relevant institutions are. Schools, banks, hospitals, supermarkets, manufacturing and distribution centers. 50 years, billions of dollars, the most influential music form on earth. And in 50 years, they haven't built a single institution for black people. Throw it in the trash.
I've heard you also say that they're flaunting and certain things. You feel as though that they're almost shitting on black people who are
the main message of gangster rap is I made it out the ghetto, you didn't, and I'm gonna flaunt to you what I have that you may never get. It's about making yourself look important to people who don't have much.
I had some mothers who took issue. They said, I hear that the girls at your school and the teachers at your school, because although FDMG will be initially male, there will be the Anna Douglas and Amy Garvey Princess Academy about 5 years down the road. You cannot come to my school with a weave, a perm, European hair color, nothing. Happy to be nappy. I have black women, feminists. How dare you dictate how women wear their hair? I'm not dictating how women wear their hair, but in this institution, self-hate will not be validated. Your daughter can wear her hair any kind of way she wants, but she will not wear it as a European. Because the most important job I have for a black girl is to teach her to love herself. The main weapon used against a black woman is European standards of beauty. The main weapon used against a black boy is economic empowerment and his ability to take care of his family. So if you want to help black men, you gotta make them breadwinners so they can take care of their family. And if you want to help black women, you got to make them love what they see in the mirror. If a black girl graduates from my school and goes and get a perm the next day, if she graduates from FDMG and goes and get a blind weave the next day, I'll fail. Because she's supposed to love herself so much that by the time she graduates from there, she don't want to be nothing except what God made her to be. So with the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, I'm hoping that this will be the beginning of a global movement. I want to die as the first superintendent in world history of a truly Pan-Africanist independent school district.
Bro, trust me, bro. You don't know these people, bro. People will shock you. Even motherfucker that you with last night.
Musk's father ended up having 2 kids with his former stepdaughter, who he raised when she was 4 years old. And there's a 46-year age difference between those two. And when I asked him, he said, well, no rules in love and war.
All I say is show me the rules. I'd like to see the rules. Please show me the rules. I want to see the rules for love and war. And then if you show me, then I'll apologize. If you can't show me the rules, then don't talk to me. Show me the rules.
What country was this? South Africa.
Okay, that's where he's from. That's why he's here.
We have the person that just purchased Twitter, making a brain chip company. He's also a major contractor to the U.S. military. He has a major conflict of interest with Chinese Silicon Valley equivalents like Tencent.
He says his work is to find a way to compete against the transhumanistic.
No.
You don't believe that at all.
I don't buy it. No. If you look at that company, they had animal trials. Many of the monkeys that was tested and died after the brain chip was put in. They're selling this as one way. It's all going to be a utopian thing if we all upgrade. I mean, that's how it's being framed, right? But if you look at how these people think, they don't want that. They're looking at feudalism and how do you create a class of slaves that cannot even cognitively rebel ever again. And then you have people like Elon Musk coming in and saying, I'm going to take over Twitter for free speech. And then he also says, I want to make Twitter into basically like WeChat, which is, basically a surveillance app to use in China. That's for your finances, your social media, pretty much everything is on that app. They even call it the Everything app. And that's his model. And the parent company of that, Tencent, is one of Tesla's shareholders and, most active advisors.
The stakeholders have an initiative to ban livestock.
Cows alone account for about 6% of global emissions. So we need to change cows.
An exclusive organization for the world's most powerful people, called Stakeholders, enacted a 10-year transition to a global authoritarian political system called stakeholder capitalism.
It's a funeral of shareholder capitalism, and it's a birth of stakeholder capitalism.
You have shown us the way forward.
One of their agendas by 2030 is to own the food supply chain.
Bill Gates became the largest individual owner of farmland.
According to their reports, this is what they want us to eat.
GMO wheat, every piece of corn I've ever eaten is GMO corn. So these are things that billions of years of using these products have been done. Anyway, these are proven products.
The stakeholders have an initiative to ban livestock.
Cows alone account for about 6% of global emissions. So we need to change cows.
And increase our consumption of
artificial meat, like Impossible or Beyond Meat, both of which I invested in.
We'll have the convenience.
Gates buying up all of the farmland with us because control food. Not only control the food, it's deeper. These ninjas, white ninjas, have come up with a technology that is, I think they call it RNA resistant crop. Not GMO no more. GMO, it don't grow again. You feel me? You grow one time, it decimates the soil, it's dead. GMO is cancer for soil. This RNA resistant crop, you are able to engineer the seed to search and destroy a certain type of genetic composition. They can make a seed that will target black people. So when you ingest the fruit and vegetable, it automatically goes to attack on your immune system. Damn. Imagine putting the AIDS virus in your food. The reason country will descend into chaos because white people are going to overthrow the government if too many of them go broke. The only thing keeping them from doing it right now is America keeps perpetuating this notion of a middle class, right? We have middle class. You can become middle class. Go to college, get a job. You can become middle class. But what they don't tell you is America rewrote the definition of class. Traditionally, class refers to what? Ownership of the means of production. Class was wealth. Black people ain't got no wealth. So how do you have a black middle class if black people don't own nothing? Because they rewrote the definition. Guess what determines your class now? Education and occupation. It's no longer what you own. It's education and occupation. So let me give you an example. I'm a single black mother. I got 5 kids. I got 2 master's degrees. I'm a math coach at the local public school. I'm making $60,000 a year, but with 5 kids. I'm dancing at the poverty line. According to Uncle Sam and the IRS, I'm not poor. I'm middle class. You know why? Because how much I make don't matter. My job and my education. My money don't matter. And that's how they perpetuate the myth. Oh, the black, this is what they say. The black middle class is larger than it's ever been. They're not talking about money. They're talking about college degrees and occupation. And black people better stop sending their kids to college and start sending them to trade school. Because with the artificial intelligence takeover, any job that a robot can do won't be around 10, 20 years from now. You have to make sure you are majoring in a profession that can only be done with human hands. You follow me? The trades can only be done with human hands because it takes a human mind to analyze how to get this electric through here and around there. You follow me? Plumbing, how to get this electric through here and around there. I'll give you some artificial intelligence for y'all. Let me come to psychology, right? My expertise. Don't you know that in COVID, our children were being tested electronically
for special ed disabilities. In other words, there's computer programs that will now evaluate the kid. And even before that, when I test your kid, I can take their scores and put them in a program and hit return on a computer, and the computer will produce a psychological evaluation report.
Yeah.
Now, what's the problem with that? You might say, what's wrong with the computer? Did the computer see your kid? Did the computer talk to the mother? Did the computer talk to the teacher?
Yeah.
Did the computer see the grades? Did the computer see the test score? Did the computer know that kid was sexually abused or a foster kid? Or his mama died or grandmom passed away? Is the computer able to take into account any of the contextual variables that might explain why he can't read other than a learning disability? Do you feel me? So artificial intelligence in the field of psychology is leading to the overdiagnosis of black people with problems they don't have. In psychology, I already see how artificial intelligence is causing problems with our people. We're going to have to sit down and we're going to have a conversation about how to operate an economy that doesn't depend on currency. Let me give you an example. Because money, we ain't going to have none. Plus, they're going to go to total electronic currency anyway, which is a disaster. Digital currency is a disaster. Do you think you would have got a Black Panther movement with digital currency? You think there would ever been a Garvey movement with digital currency? When a white man can see everything you buy, everywhere you buy it, who you buy it from, how you gonna go get 100 guns to defend the community against the KKK? You can't. Nah. Digital currency is a trap for revolutions. Once we have universal digital currency, there will never be another revolution on the planet. Because the minute they see you using your money for hit that button, turn it off. Digital currency is a trap. It's a trap. And the black community has to come up with another type of an economy that's doesn't depend on currency. It may have to depend on service, a service economy. Or no, you a cook. My wife gonna babysit. You gonna provide the food for the house. You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm the psychologist. You the barber. I'm going to do therapy for your children. You going to cut my kids' hair. You follow what I'm saying? We're going to need and then there's another company that's buying up all of the real estate. And they're turning everything that, what are they doing? They're either eliminating rental properties or they're eliminating purchase properties. I think they're eliminating purchase properties. Yeah. They're eliminating purchase. They only want you to be a renter, so you have no control over what goes on. And if you are a renter, if I raise the price of that rent too high, you can't afford it. Now, here's the irony. Bill Gates is not an agriculturalist. The company that's buying up all the real estate and turning it into rental, they're not into real estate. Yeah. So you know why they're doing this? What are the two most important things? You need them every day. Food and a place to sleep.
Yeah.
Food and a place to sleep. So the way these damn devils figure, if I control all the food, which is going to be RNA resistant, you control all the rental properties that people can afford to live in, we can induce as much homelessness as we want. And it's easy to kill off homeless people because most people see them as trash. Just taking up space. Just taking up space. They're about to breed a panic like we've never seen before. They're targeting us particularly.
I believe
but it's still going to spill outside. But they're targeting black people particularly. That's why Bill Gates is buying all that farmland. Because he says, listen, AIDS didn't kill them all. COVID didn't kill them all. Poor nutrition didn't kill them all. I know how I'm going to get them. Black people want to eat healthy? No problem. Come and buy your food from Bill Gates's farmer's market. And everything you eat is going to kill your ass.
During the early 20th century, the eugenics movement was a popular scientific and social theory that was said to improve the genetic quality of the human population. Margaret Sanger was involved with the eugenics movement, believing that birth control was a means to prevent unwanted pregnancies. The 1939 Negro Project, which aimed to provide birth control to African American communities, has been interpreted as an attempt to control the African American population. Critics point to her writings and speeches where she spoke about controlling the birth rates of certain populations. They also argue that the high number of Planned Parenthood clinics in minority neighborhoods is evidence of a deliberate strategy to reduce minority populations.
Exterminate the Negro population. Margaret Sanger, founder of Planned Parenthood. Hillary Clinton did say. The woman who said, our goal is the extermination of the Negro race. What kind of Negro would vote for a woman who would say such a thing?
We set up the goals for the next 5 years, and one of them was by 2023, we will reduce the number of people in the world by 50%. I think today, this dream is becoming reality. It is basically biological chip, but it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance, the insurance companies to know that the medicines that patients should take, they do take them. It is fascinating what happens in this field.
Of what the CIA and the Defense Department have been doing for a long time as far as using us as guinea pigs for mind control and other types of horrible things they have in mind for us and the rest of the people in the world. What are some of them?
Well, it started out basically with the CIA doing experimentations on their own men to discover if they could get rid of agents who were going to quit the department and still had classified information. So they utilized different types of drugs and pain and hypnosis and electric shock to try and get the guys to forget. Then they also did experimentations to using different chemicals to see if you can induce a person to commit a crime or induce him to do that or to do this. Of course, the CIA claimed that it didn't carry it through. The documentation we got was actually that they did that. Then we came across the overall project called MK Ultra. Its earlier code name was Artichoke, and that included 149 sub-projects. And those sub-projects range from what I just described to open-air testing in the United States, experimentation on prisoners, experimentation on soldiers, experimentation on college students.
Would these people know they were being experimented on and gave their approval?
No.
And the last one of these was in 2019 October. And it was hosted by Bill Gates, by Fauci, and by Avril Haines. I'm sure a lot of you have gone and looked at this on YouTube. It's called Event 201. That same week, Bill Gates, who was overseeing this simulation, bought 1.1 million shares of BioNTech vaccine, which later became the Pfizer vaccine. He then sold that, almost all that stock, 87%, 2 years later, at a $242 million profit. And a week after that, he publicly announced the vaccine didn't work. This is what you call a pump and dump scheme. As he was the guy who was on TV with his minion, Peter Hotez, who took $52 million from Gates for Gates made his institution. So you had the pair of them pumping up this stock for 2 years and then dumping it a week before he goes on TV and says, oh, it didn't work after all.
You know, if you will commit right now that not only will you not go to work for drug companies, you won't go to work suing the drug companies and taking your rake out of that while you're a secretary and for 4 years after. It's just...
I'll commit to not taking any fees from drug companies while I'm secretary.
No, I'm asking about fees from suing drug companies. Will you agree not to do that?
You're asking me to not sue drug companies.
No,
and I'm not going to agree to that.
Drug companies as much as you want.
I'm not going to agree to not sue drug companies or anybody.
Michigan doctor sentenced being called a monster. A day of reckoning for the doctor who diagnosed hundreds of patients with cancer when they did not have it. Outside the court, the tears and anger, he lied to so many patients, giving many of them extensive chemotherapy, which then made them sick. So many of those families today coming face to face with the doctor as he was sentenced to 45 years behind bars. And you're about to hear what the doctor said to those families. ABC's Ron Claiborne leads us off.
Judgment Day for the doctor who caused so much pain. Victims of Dr. Fareed Fatah outside the courtroom where he was sentenced, hand in hand, then defiant.
45 years for the lives that he took.
It just wasn't enough.
In court, the 50-year-old doctor breaking down, saying, I misused my talents, yes, and permitted this sin to enter me because of power and greed. But those words no comfort for Cheryl Blades.
I could hear him talking to my mother because I went to every appointment. So I could hear him talking to her and promising her to save her.
In all, Fata pleaded guilty to intentionally misdiagnosing more than 550 patients, often prescribing treatment for cancer that they did not have. He earned more than $17 million as a result.
Dr. Fata pounced on every opportunity to use a patient's body as a profit center.
One of the patients, 53-year-old Monica Flagg.
Stressful. It was extremely emotional.
I have ultimately closed my clinic. I have let go of my prescription capacity as a doctor. I can no longer prescribe drugs because I am convinced the only thing I can really do with a drug now is harm. There is no way that a human, myself or otherwise, is going to find a new chemical that is going to change the potential or capacity of that temple to do itself better. I just wholly now understand that to be absolutely an impossible premise because the design was so perfect at its origin. And any disease is a decrement away from that original design, not a failure of the design that now needs to be improved. We are that original design of this most complex expression of light interacting with water, interacting with protein, or the expression of building blocks of life itself. And for that, we built these temples that we call bodies.
Diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. It was in my breasts, my lungs, my stomach, my ovaries, and my bones. And my prognosis from my doctor wasn't good. And when I asked them, how much time do I have? They said, we're not going to talk about that right now. Let's talk about treatment first and see what we can do to help you. But your scans are not the scans of someone that lives. So I knew that I didn't have a lot of time. So at that point, I was like, what do I have to lose, right? So I started doing a lot of research, and I found that soursop leaves, the tea from it that you make from it, actually helps with killing cancer cells. I also found that apricot kernels, when you take it, it's also a cancer-fighting agent. And what's interesting about apricot kernels is that on the NIH website, our National Institute of Health website, says in there that apricot kernels have been known to help fight cancer. But do your doctor tell you that? No. As a matter of fact, they tell you not to take it. And apricot kernels look like almonds. However, you cannot take a handful of them like you do almonds. You take 3 a day. That's it. So I take 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the evening, because it actually turns into cyanide in your body. And the cyanide, I believe.
An interview that was made several years ago of a man admitting to causing chaos in Africa, including the spread of HIV and deadly coups that saw millions die at the hands of hungry, greedy politicians. And it breaks my heart because everyone seems to know what is happening in Africa except for Africans themselves. This man has the nerve to sit there and admit all these evil deeds without conviction or an ounce of guilt. Check out this video.
Operations were you doing?
Well, to clandestine operations, we were involved in coups, taking over countries for other leaders. We were involved in Mozambique, spreading the AIDS virus through medical conditions. We were involved in Angola with Dr. Jonas Salumbi for various operations. We got military support.
So, people were killed during these operations?
Oh, definitely.
I just put the question again, and then you can come in.
Yeah.
You mentioned actively spreading AIDS?
There was a unit in from Sinai that one of the things was that we went into African countries.
And how was that done exactly?
Through inoculation.
Through vaccines?
Yeah, through vaccines.
History is riddled with betrayal, coups, HIV, and exploitation disguised as aid. They are not our friends. They are resource hunters, these European people, by the way, if you think they love you. If Africans haven't learned this by now, they are in for a bleak future. What further proofs do you need besides the centuries of slavery and colonialism visited on the continent by both Arabs and Europeans? Until Africa learns to unite, they will continue to be exploited.
Like, damn. I ain't even like, God damn.
People that can handle it well as I handle it. They're not as tough as they think they are. Everyone thinks they're a tough guy, they're a big shot, but they're not. Deep down inside. If you strip them down for what they truly are, they're cowards. Because they manipulate and misuse people. And only cowards do that because they're insecure themselves and their own manhood. I talk to the smallest, wimpiest guy in the world the same way I talk to the biggest, baddest motherfucker.
We're going to need a service economy. Trade without money in order for us to survive. What we about to go through as black people.
Agreed.
Why is Bill Gates buying up all of the farmland?
Yeah, that's
because
control the food.
Not only control the food, it's deeper. These ninjas, white ninjas, have come up with a technology that is, I think they call it RNA resistant crop. Not GMO no more. GMO, it don't grow again. You feel me? You grow one time, it decimates the soil, it's dead. GMO is cancer for the soil.
Mm-hmm.
This RNA resistant crop, you are able to engineer the seed to search and destroy a certain type of genetic composition. They can make a seed that will target black people, so when you ingest the fruit and vegetable, it automatically goes to attack on your immune system. Damn. Imagine putting the AIDS virus in your food.
Mm-hmm.
The reason Bill Gates is buying up all the farmland, allegedly, is so that he can grow all this RNA-resistant foods. So now your fruits and vegetables become the thing that's killing you.
Yes.
Damn. And then there's another company.
An exclusive report about British and American researchers. They've created the first synthetic human embryos.
Yeah, it's a terrifying prospect, and when you read about it, it feels a little bit Black Mirror-ish in a way. These synthetic human embryos were created from stem cells. They're groundbreaking for The Guardian, at least, because they required no eggs or sperm. The embryos could be crucial in determining things like genetic disorders or even perhaps treating repeated miscarriages. But as The Guardian notes, this discovery also falls beyond the realm of regulation in the UK and in most countries, so it does raise a lot of ethical issues. The embryos don't have a beating heart or any brain matter, but they have enough matter to form a placenta, an egg yolk, and embryo. So as I said, raising major ethical and legal questions as well, Stuart.
This is the artificial womb facility, a place where humans could be grown entirely from scratch. The devices you see here are called growth pods. Each growth pod is designed to replicate the same conditions that exist inside the mother's uterus. Growth pods are designed to host human fetuses until they are fully developed. These artificial wombs are designed to help premature babies to continue developing after their birth. But emerging scientific research is making it possible to use them to create designer humans entirely from scratch.
This is an artificial baby. This is a newly advanced technology through which babies will be created in the laboratory. Scientists predict in the future, with this new technology, we will be able to create 30,000 artificial babies in 1 year. According to scientists, they have the ability choosing the baby's eye color, hair color, skin tone, physical strength, height, and level of intelligence. With this new technology, the perfect human being can be created artificially. This technology was invented in 1984, and according to scientists, the United States military in the next 10 years will be creating babies in multiple secret laboratories throughout the United States of America. What is the reason for doing this? Why keep it secret from the public?
This product is going to revolutionize 3 critical industries: the power industry,
the independence industry, and the freedom industry. This product is going to revolutionize all three. Are you getting it? Ladies and gentlemen, we have harnessed the power of the atom. Introducing the Enron egg, the world's first micronuclear reactor for residential suburban use. This little device can power your entire home for up to 10 continuous years. It goes without saying, but when you put a nuclear reactor in your home, it's gotta be safe for the whole family. I've been living with an egg for a few months now, and let me just tell you that my little ones, they freaking love it, especially when what we save on the energy bill, we can spend on Christmas presents. Do your kids hate camping as much as mine? Well, let's just say they're gonna like it now. Because for the first time in history, you can bring the comfort of your living room out into the world. Playing the newest game from your favorite console under the stars is just a whole other experience. But here at Enron, we care about the intersection of technology and nature, which is why I'm proud to announce that Enron has teamed up with FEMA to provide nuclear eggs to rapid response teams all around the globe. All of this made possible by the Enron Mining Division, which has been sourcing the proprietary enronium ore, which I think you'll agree has unlocked a new atomic age. Because that's what it's all about, folks. Making the world a better place, one egg at a time. Thank you.
You want to make a bit of money? You should do what I did. Get into farming. See this? I got this selling corn. Comes out of the fucking ground. I couldn't believe it. You see that? It's made of chicken. It's actually made of chicken. You kill it, you got free chicken. You can sell it to people. Or don't kill it. Fucking eggs come out of their arses. Fucking hell. You know sheep? Bit woolly. It's wool! Pull it off, sell it, fucking grows back again. You cannot lose. Brilliant. Don't even need an alarm clock. Unbelievable. It's only 5 in the morning and I'm right where I work. And while the other poor sod's struggling in on the tube, I'm gonna go and get some milk out of a cow. Who's a jammy bastard? Look at all this milk. I'm gonna make a fucking fortune.
This is a good thing. Kill the American dollar. You come to me, you want to buy gold, and then you give me papers. And then you call that business. No. And right now the economy is running on the false idea of Nixon, who removed the American dollar from being gold-based to being paper-based. So Americans don't need any backup for their economy. Or they're going to go to a photocopy machine and photocopy more papers. We are going to be reaching a time right now in Zimbabwe where all the gold that was stolen by the Europeans is going to come back to Africa. How? When we sell you our maize, we sell you our flowers, we sell you our coal. We don't want some damn pieces of paper money in our accounts. Pay in gold. Bring it back from your reserves in London, in Lisbon, in New York, in Frankfurt. You want iron ore and manganese. You want bars of gold.